church. Happy Friday. A couple of announcements for you this week. First of all, many of you have expressed your desire to help support the Afghan refugees, many of whom are coming and being resettled in our area. And we started a ministry. We announced that last week at our members meeting for people to help support directly, but there's also now a way that you can support through your giving. We have established a support fund for refugee assistance. Our parish council has officially done that now. So if you would like to give directly to this fund, and this fund will go to meet the needs of refugees in our area, if you want to give directly to that fund, you can now do that by going to our website, and you will see on our giving page in the drop-down menu, this is a new option that you can select. So if this is something that you want to give to above and beyond your normal tithing, something that you particularly feel called to give to, then that option is now available for you. And also, I want you to know that not only can you give to this fund, but you can also apply for assistance from this fund on behalf of other people. So you can apply on behalf of someone you know, you can apply on behalf of an individual or a household, people who are refugees, as well as organizations that provide support to Afghan refugees, and you can do that by filling out our online application. So just wanted you to know about that, and that's going to be linked in our Friday emails going forward. The second thing that I want you to know about is we recognize that there are a lot of people who, for very legitimate reasons, don't feel comfortable coming and worshiping with us in person. Of course, my personal preference is that as many of you would come as possible. I think that our normative practice should be to worship together in person, but we recognize that with the Delta variant, there are a lot of reasons why people will legitimately not feel comfortable doing that. And so what is happening is we have a lot of households, families and roommates and households where one person or two people from the house will come and the rest will stay home. We have a lot of parents who are switching off, taking turns each week coming, and the other stays home with the kids. And we realized that for all those people who are staying home, communion is not really an option. And we've had some people asking if they can take communion back to their husband or wife or roommate. And so what we would like to do is to make a temporary provision to make that possible. And I want to make sure that we do that in the correct way. Ancient custom dictates that the consecrated bread and wine, that means the bread and wine that we use during our in-person worship service, may be reserved for the communion of the sick or others who, as it says, for weighty cause, are not able to be present in person for the celebration of the Eucharist. This has been a long-standing practice in the church. And we would consider COVID-19 and the Delta variant to be a weighty cause. If you're for whatever reason, if you're particularly vulnerable to or have particular reasons to be concerned about getting COVID-19, then we would consider that to be a weighty cause for the time being. And so during the season, we want to provide an option for our members and regular attenders to take bread and wine home to their household. Now, this is not the same thing as making you all licensed lay Eucharistic ministers where you can take the reserved sacrament to groups of people. We really only want this to be done for your own household. So your husband or your wife or your kids, or in some cases your roommates, and I'll say a little bit more about that. But we want this to be a kind of dispensation, something that we do temporarily, until we're able to reasonably expect that everybody come and worship together in person. The one thing I'm going to ask is that this is done correctly. And I mean a few things by that. Number one, those administering the reserved sacrament and those receiving the reserved sacrament must be Christians. They must be baptized in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and they must be in good standing with the church. That means they can't be in any active, ongoing, unrepentant sin or under any form of church discipline. So if you have any questions about this, you should definitely reach out to contact our clergy and get clarity on that before you do this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we hope and expect that anyone receiving the reserved sacrament will have participated in our Sunday worship service online that Sunday. So if you can't come in person but you want the Eucharist, we encourage you to practice to join with us online as best you can. If you would like to take the reserved sacrament home to someone in your household, when you come to church and when you come up to receive communion, just let the person who is distributing know that, and let them know how many you need. Only take as much as you need for the people you will be giving communion to. We don't want any waste. We don't want anything thrown out or tossed out. Everything needs to be consumed reverently once it has been consecrated. And then the last thing I'll say is, when you give communion to people in your household, you need to use the liturgy that is provided for that in the 2019 edition of the Book of Common Prayer from the ACNA. This is what it looks like. I strongly encourage you, if you don't have a copy of this already, just to go ahead and pick one up. We will be providing the liturgy as a PDF attachment in emails going forward, but I encourage you to go ahead and get a copy for yourself. You will find the liturgy on page 227. It is the liturgy for the communion of the sick. I encourage you to read through this a few times. Read all of the rubrics, which are the directions in small italicized font. There are certain prayers and things that you would only say if you're a priest. So unless you're a priest in the Anglican Church, I would encourage you not to use those. Use the prayers and the words that are for deacons and lay people, lay ministers, and just follow this liturgy. Read through it to familiarize yourself with it. And then as it directs you, give communion to those that you are giving communion to. So if we're going to do this, we need to do it in the right way. We need to do it in an ordered way, and we need to do it in a way that reflects our belief in the importance of the sacrament, the kind of reverence that we are meant to have toward the sacrament. And so I encourage you to read through this, and this will give you guidance as to what that should look like in your home. Families, and I encourage you to make a little service of this, maybe Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, all sit down together and do this communion service together. I hope that this is something that benefits you, that makes it more possible for people to participate in the life of Christ in our church through this practice. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I want to let you know that I did spend time praying for you this morning, that I'm hoping that all of you have a wonderful weekend, enjoy the beautiful weather. I pray that God would bless you, and I look forward to seeing you someday.